Hi, everybody. I'm John Paul Ramirez, or JP. I use the pronouns he, him, his. I am grateful to say that I know Monson as a friend and as a colleague. We met 2 years ago when you were just transitioning from community health into mission integration. And I wasn't too far down the journey that I started as well.
My name is Montserrat. We met about 2 years ago, and that time flew by very quickly. I'm mission leader serving Northern California. It's been a really fantastic, heart-filling journey that I've been on in the world of mission. And I think meeting you, John Paul, and learning more about the work that you do and just how you do it has been really inspiring, which brings us to us kind of in this space together and talking about Latinx, Hispanic Heritage Month. And before we get started in our conversation, just, wanting to get to know you, or for our audience to get to know you a little bit more and to share with us your cultural history, or anything that you would like to share about your upbringing and kind of what has brought you to this point.
I have the privilege of serving the Los Angeles Ministry Service area in the outpatient world here in the SoCal Providence Clinical Network. It's the city that I was born and raised. And so I take great pride in being able to serve my city, my communities, the clinics. I feel like the neighborhoods of the clinics each have a different story from parts of my life. I definitely bring everything into the work that I do. Born and bred in Los Angeles, a proud son of two immigrant parents from Mexico and Ecuador. So I am half Ecuadorian, half Mexican, full American, first generation college graduate. I put an asterisk because my mom, right before I was born, went back to school and I got her associate's degree. And so I want to honor that as well. While she didn't go on to study at a university, her story about how she got that associate's degree is one that she always told to my siblings and I, and one that we carry as inspiration of, wow, you had to go through so much as a mom, as a wife. I didn't have the support of my father, but that is a big part of who I am. I carry on the legacy of my ancestors, the hopes and dreams, and I believe I'm the living manifestation of those dreams.
You reference our ancestors a lot in the conversations that you and I have had over these 2 years. And for me, it's such a beautiful reminder of where we've come from, who we've come from, some of the challenges and some of the joys. Can you talk a little bit more about how you do this in your everyday?
Well, I think especially this month at the end of it, as we celebrate All Souls and All Saints in the Catholic tradition, faith and culture and Latino Catholicism. And one of the popular traditions is Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. It was a couple of years ago in my previous work at Loyola Marymount, where I got to accompany students. We were preparing for a mission trip to Guadalajara. And my whole approach was to move away from those mission service trips and really just an opportunity for kinship, for experiential learning, for community. And I had the great privilege of being able to say that this is the land of my father. This was an exotic third world Rubicon mission service trip that we were going to go into and help people. In that preparation, I somehow found a postcard from like 1945. My family from that state in Jalisco had written to my grandparents. And so I keep it near me always. It's kind of a reminder of people I never met, but we carry something in common in this lineage. In our work as mission leaders, we carry on the legacy of those who came before us. And so I always feel like we have heavy loads, but not burdens. We carry it together. It's a big privilege to stand on the shoulders of giants, and it's a beautiful view. So I come from a place of gratitude of being able to carry these stories and these memories of people that I know, of people that I've never met. And so personally, culturally, and professionally in this work and mission as being carriers of this legacy of stories and tradition.
I think storytelling is one of those beautiful ways to really kind of get to know another person, to understand culturally where they come from, what are the rituals, what are the practices, what are these just beautiful celebrations that folks, bring with them as they enter, as caregivers into Providence, or just how they are in the community. I work a lot with youth as I think about, the stories that they share. A
Mm.
lot of it is around identity. They come to us with these beautiful and rich histories, culturally. And they're coming into these high schools and they're bringing this cultural richness. And then they're also trying to figure out like their own identities within the context of high school, which I think in general, most of us will agree is kind of this weird and challenging time. And you and I talk a lot about like how we carry these identities. So we bring the stories and then our own identity into where we are in this present moment. Talk to me a little bit about your personal identity. What has that brought to you as you're on this road of discovering yourself?
It's 2023. I am nearing 37. I think it's taken me 30 plus years to get to the point where I can say that I'm proud to be a Latino. High school was an interesting time. It took a long time to find a place of belonging. I went to a school that a lot of people didn't look like me. And so trying to figure out where I belong and people projecting where they think I should belong based on my last name, based on any assumptions of people that looked like me or shared a similar last name, that's where I was supposed to be at. And always feeling like criticized for not fitting into a box. I was always too white to be a Latino. And then I was never accepted by my close peers as one of them because I was too Mexican. It was very isolating at times. I think those feelings of projection from the teachers, it didn't give us confidence to succeed. My first language was Spanish. I don't know how much more I have to prove to be a Latino, but I think I've let go of that and just accepted myself.